3, 2, 1, action.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another My Kids Locker Empathy Tales podcast episode. This is Victoria Wolders, your host, and I'm so excited that you've joined us today to listen to another Empathy Tales podcast episode. If you'd like to reach out to me, feel free to do so at mykidslocker.com. There, you can email me and reach out to me through social media outlets. Also, you can find out where the Empathy Tales podcast is given on all major podcast platforms. Well, today's episode is called Old Man Solitude. Today, you will learn a little bit about a character who is called Old Man Solitude, and he teaches a boy of what it means to sit with others. I have been listening to a number of different people online through YouTube videos, Richard Rohr, as well as John O'Donoghue. The idea of sitting with people and spending time with them is extremely important to be able to build connection. When was the last time you sat down with another person? When was the last time that you sat with another person who may be sad? Take some time today to sit with someone just in solitude and in silence. I hope that you enjoy today's episode as I enjoyed creating it. And I hope that somehow this story will speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, without further ado, if you're all comfortable, then I will begin.
Episode today on Empathy Tales. We are on episode 73.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, today we're on episode 73. We are going to be doing a story about solitude. What is solitude? Do you know what solitude is, James?
No.
Solitude means being withdrawn and quiet. But what's special about this story is it's about a man named Solitude. So we're going to learn about this man. So, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable? Then I'll begin. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the land of the Oak and Eagle Kingdom, there lived an elderly man in the majestic mountains. His name was Solitude. He was a very, very old man. He was 100 years old. And So, there was this man, elderly man, his name was Solitude, and he lived up in the majestic mountains, high, high up. And he often would go down to the village every day for a walk in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening.
And at night.
And his whole purpose to do that was to ask people how they were doing and invest in the people below, because he didn't really have family. He knew he didn't have many more years to live, and he just wanted to build connection and relationships with people that he loved. So when he was down in the village one day, he saw a banker, and the banker said, "I'm just too busy. I don't want to talk." And the elderly man said, "Well, tell me how you're doing, banker." And the banker said, "I'm sad and I'm lonely, and I feel like my life right now is just all about collecting coins, and it's not about living my life." And the elderly man said, "You will be surprised at how fast life goes. You should really treasure everything that you have and everything that you do." And then the banker said, "Well, why don't we talk? Why don't you come by in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and just come by my window and just say hi and see how I'm doing. And so that's what the elderly man did every day. For the next couple of weeks, he'd see the banker. By the end, the banker just seemed very kind, and they had a connection, and it was a really beautiful opportunity. Well, as the weeks went by, there was another person that was in the village, and this was a woman who had lost her husband. Her husband had passed away recently because he was sick, and the old man would walk by the woman who was crying, and he'd say, "How are you?" She'd say, "I'm very sad." And so all he would do was sit with her. That's all he would do. And she would just sit, and she would sometimes hold his hand. Sometimes he would hug her, and she just felt like she wasn't alone. And as the weeks went by, she felt a little bit better. See, what happened was the old man, he just chose to give his time away. That's what he did. He didn't give his money, he didn't give his tears, but he just gave his time away. And the banker became happier, and the grieving woman became happier as well. And they were able to share their love with other people. Well, while this was going on, there was a young boy that was observing all this, and he wondered, why does the old man do what he does? Why doesn't he just serve himself? Why doesn't he stay up in the mountains? Why does he have to take all the way down here and spend time with people that are sad? And so he went up to the old man and he said, "I've been observing you, and I've been seeing you, how you walk with the banker."
The old man said, "You've been spying on me?"
And then he said, "Yes, of course. I like to walk with people and talk with people and sit with people. Sometimes just sitting in their pain, just making sure they know that they are not alone." And with all that being said, that was it. And the young man looked at them and said, "Well, I just feel that I need to be more like you." So the old man said, "Well, walk in my path." And so for the next couple of weeks, the boy would walk behind him, and often it would take him a long time to walk. And they got to know the banker and got to know the woman who was grieving. And over time, the boy actually got to know other people as well. Well, one morning when the boy was waiting for Solitude to come down the majestic mountain, there was a cold breeze that fell down the mountainside and through the village, and the boy looked up, and he noticed that the old man Solitude was not coming anymore. And he wondered, so he packed up his stuff and followed all the way up the mountain and found him in a house. And he said, "Old Man Solitude, how are you?" And the old man said, "I'm weak." And so the boy said, "How about if I sit with you?" And so they sat. And as the old man got older, he began not to be able to talk, and he would just cry. And so the young man would just sit and hold his hand and tell him he wasn't alone. And on that day, when the cold breeze blew down the mountains, and the old man's breath was taken away, the young man knew and understood what it meant to be connected, and that life is so precious and so important, and that we need to be able to connect with other people, because life is connection. And from that, he realized, and he was grateful for all the days, and he came to be the one that visited the banker every day and sat with the woman who was mourning, and became to be known as the one who truly embraced what it meant to be connected. The end. And this story is called Old Man Solitude. And it was episode 72, or was it 73? I can't remember. Shoot. Anyways, there you have it. Quick, sweet, short, and lovely.
7-minute story. And wait, we have to talk for another 10 seconds. Okay, and for our final, what we will be doing is we will be. Goodbye.
Well, I hope that you truly enjoy today's episode called Old Man Solitude. We can think about how there are people in our lives that choose to sit with us, maybe when we're sick, or when we're doing something that we're celebrating, like a birthday. I hope today you will take some time to think about how you sit with other people and how other people sit with you. Thank you so much for joining us today for another Empathy Tales podcast episode. Feel free to reach out to me at mykidslocker.com. I am the Empathy Tales podcast host, Victoria Wolders, and I hope as you walk away from this episode that you too will create compassion one story at a time. Take care, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
3, 2, 1.